Namaskar everyone, a very good morning to all of you. So we are continuing with statistics, chapter number 7, frequency diagrams, histograms and Polygon and Ogive. So histograms we completed yesterday. There are two kinds of histogram. There are two types of histogram. One with unequal class interval. This is what we did in the last yesterday. Unequal class interval histogram, and one was equal class interval histogram. One was equal class interval histogram. So what is the basic difference between equal class interval histogram and unequal class equal histogram? That in class and equal class interval histogram you do not have to do any adjustment, but with unequal classes you need to do adjustments. You need to find out the adjustment factor, and you also need to find out the adjusted frequencies. You also need to find out the adjusted frequencies. I told you the step for finding out the adjusted frequencies. You need to find out the smallest class interval, then find out the adjustment factor, that is equal to concerned class interval divided by the lowest class interval, and then the frequency of the class interval will be divided by that adjustment factor, will be divided by the adjustment factor. So this is how it needs to be done. This is how it needs to be done. I hope everybody must have understood this. Today we'll be starting with the polygon part. Today we'll be starting with the polygon part. This is the next thing that we are going to start today. So polygon, basically what is a polygon? Basically what is a polygon? So polygon is another form of diagrammatic presentation of data. It is formed by joining the midpoints of the tops of all rectangles in a histogram. So histogram that we made yesterday, will be joining the midpoints of the top of all the rectangles, and by joining that will be achieving will be getting the histogram, will be getting a frequency polygon. For example, let's see how we doing it yesterday and how the polygon is to be made from the histogram. Drawing the x and the y axis first. Then we'll be proceeding with the values will be marked. The values will be marked over here. This is the y axis and this is the x axis. Few values will be on x axis and another variable will be on the y axis. Then you will be making what? Then you will be making a histogram. So histogram starts with the border sharing with the y axis. This is how the histograms are made. This is how the histograms are made. So once you have made this histogram, it will look like this. I hope everybody knows now how to construct histogram. Everybody now knows how to construct the histogram. So this is how your histogram will be looking like. This is how your histogram will be looking like. Over here we have got values like, for example, this is 10. Now this is 20. This 30, 40, and 50, like that. So we have got values. Now what is going to happen for the this is histogram. The green color one is histogram. Fine. And now we'll be doing what? We'll be making the polygon. We'll be making the polygon. The polygon will be making now with the blue color. So everybody please pay the attention how the polygon is going to be made. Now over here I told you how the polygon is to be made. So for every on the top of histogram you will be marking the midpoints. Like for example 0 to 10, what is going to be the midpoint? The midpoint is going to be 5. The midpoint is going to be 5. Over here the midpoint is of 10 to 20 is going to be 15. Over here the midpoint of 10 to 20 is going to be 15. Then 20 to 30 the midpoint is going to be 25 over here. Then 35, then 45 over here. Then on the x-axis, on both the sides, that is on the positive side and the negative side, you will be again making, what? You will be again making you'll be marking the midpoint. Like for example, over here, if it comes out to be -10, so the midpoint is going to be here, somewhat here. This is going to be the midpoint of this one. And if you are marking it on positive side, the value comes out to be here, but the midpoint will be here. Now what is to be done, guys? You will be joining the midpoints. To form the polygon. Like for example, over here, these two midpoints will be joined. After that, these two midpoints will be joined. So this you need to join with the help of scale and pencil. Now, so once all the midpoints of the rectangles of the histogram are joined, now you will be joining this with the x-axis part. You will not leave this like this over here. You will have to close the polygon part. For closing the polygon part, what you will be actually doing, you will be joining it with the adjacent midpoint of the next interval, like this. So you will not be joining it with the next value. You will be joining it with the mid value part on the left side and on the right hand side as well. So this is how your frequency polygon is going to look like. So first of all, you need to make the histogram and then join the midpoints on the top of the rectangles of the histogram, and then close the polygon part by joining it with the x-axis adjacent next to the values, next to the rectangles, fine, on both the left side and the right side. This is how the polygons are to be made. So let's start. We'll be doing the question. Everybody must have understood what frequency polygon are and how they are made. So this is how the polygon are made, and then we have a question over here. You will be doing this question. You have got 5 minutes with you to complete this question. You have got marks and number of students. Marks will be put on the x-axis and the number of students on y-axis. This is the frequency polygon, which is made with the help of histogram. There are frequency polygon which are made without the histogram as well. That we'll be discussing after this question. So you have got this question. Just do it. This is something very easy. First, you will be making the histogram out of this data, and then joining the midpoints, and then completing the frequency polygon as discussed just now. Kindly do this, guys. So this is how your polygon is going to look like. Your frequency polygon, you will be making the histogram and then joining the midpoints of the rectangles, and this is how your frequency polygon is going to look like. Now there is one thing. The area of rectangles of the histogram is equal to the area of polygon. I repeat, the area of rectangles of histogram is equal to the area under the polygon. Is it true or false? With this we need to discuss. Just think over it. You have got a diagram in front of you. The area under the rectangles of the histogram and the area under the polygon is exactly the same. This is what we need to discuss. Think and answer me. So frequency polygon. Oh, this answer was lying just over here, guys. I think you must have read it from here only. Very smart. So this answer is lying just over here. You can refer to this paragraph and just read it once. You will get to know what I was trying to explain just now, how the area under the rectangle is exactly equal to the area covered under the polygon. And this is what you need to read out. We'll be proceeding with the next topic. The next is frequency polygon without constructing a histogram. This is the question that we'll be doing. Now, for constructing the polygon without the histogram, what you will be doing, instead of making the histograms, see this. over here. You have got what? You have got the midpoints. You have got the midpoints covered. So now you just need to mark the frequency on the y-axis with the help of the mid values on the x-axis. Like 40 to 50, the midpoint is going to be 45. So whatever frequency it is having, just mark the point over there. Just mark the point over there. You need not construct a histogram like this. Can you see this? And this is how your polygon, this is how your frequency polygon will look like without a histogram. This is how your frequency polygon will look like without a histogram. This is that easy, guys. Let me show you again. So this was the earlier one. This was the earlier one that we did in the last question. In this, and we mark the points. We mark the points joining the midpoints. Joining the midpoints, we made a polygon. Now, what you need to do in this case, you need not construct any histogram. You just need to mark the midpoints against the corresponding frequencies, and then what? Then you will be joining those midpoints, and you will be getting a diagram like this. Fine. So this is how your frequency polygon without histogram will look like. So let's do a question for this over here. Over to you guys. You have got marks, you have got number of students. Now what? How will you proceed? You will first need to find out the mid values. You will first need to find out the mid values, and then mark the frequencies against those mid values on the graph. Mark the mid values against those frequencies on the graph, and then join those mid values with the help of scale and pencil. Draw the straight line, and yes, your frequency polygon without constructing a histogram will be done. You have got 2 to 3 minutes with you. Just do it quickly. So let's see the solution. This is how you are going to find out the mid values first. This is how you are going to find out the mid values. And then against the mid values, you will be plotting the diagram like this. Against the mid values, you will be plotting the diagram like this. So this is how your frequency polygon without histogram is going to look like. And join the dots only with the help of scale. Do not trust your hands, and do not make it without using scale. So this is how your frequency polygon without histogram is going to look like. And with this, we sum up this topic of polygon. We'll be starting with the next topic, frequency curve, tomorrow. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much.